Hello, fabulous people. It's the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson here on the Blissful Living Podcast. And woo, do I got a show for you today. We're going to be talking about leadership and all kind of phenomenal things. So we need to uplift us women. We women need to come together. And I say this all the time, but we need to come together and support each other so that we can uplift each other and be strong enough to be the change agents to make this world a better place. The men have had it for a while, and now it's time for us women to show them how we do things the right way. But that's not the show today. But as you know, I say, if you like the show, please subscribe to the show and share it with everyone you love and care about. You know, I like to always tell you all to find a place to sit, grab a piece of paper, something to write with, your favorite beverage. I'm supporting my Golden State Warriors because I'm a Cali girl, and I'm drinking a cup of tea. And you know, when you do that, tell your family to give you a few moments just so you can absorb this information. While you're doing that, let me take care of business. I want to thank our first sponsor, Blissful Living for You, at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. They have an amazing amount of things going on. If you want to elevate your wellness, your mindset, which we call wisdom, or your wealth, you definitely want to check them out. And as we move into these hotter months now, getting summer, you know, we want to shed a little bit less clothing and have our body looking right. So they've got some beautiful things that can help you to do that holistically and naturally. But beyond that, they just have an abundance of information for you all when it comes to wellness, wisdom, aka mindset, and wealth. So check them out at www.blissfulliving, the number 4, the letter U.com. The next sponsor I want to thank is a woman-owned telecommunications installation company located in the heart of Silicon Valley, San Jose, California. All Day Cable Incorporated. They specialize in the installation of voice, data, fiber optic cabling, all things network distribution. They've been in business since 1990, and they service small, medium, and very large corporations. So if you have a need where you really want to make sure you make that right connection the first time with your customers on the other end, whether it's you utilizing voice, data, fiber optic, whatever it is, you definitely want to check out a company that's been through it all since 1990 and women-owned, supporter of women businesses. You can check them out at alldaycableinc.com. So now let me tell you about our guest today. I have the distinguished pleasure of having a retired Brigadier General on the show. I think this might be the first time. And you know, all of you know, I'm a huge supporter of our women veterans, but Miss Twanda Young is our guest today. And we're going to be talking about leadership. Her company is LT3 Leadership Solutions. And let me tell you about Miss Twanda. Sharing nuggets of advice to help people become better leaders. That is what retired Brigadier General Twanda, aka Tia Young, is a widely recognized leader, coach, author, and speaker. She is a decorated veteran with over 3 decades of service. Now, Twanda aims to empower others through leadership development, conflict management, and career coaching. As a sought-after speaker, she inspires audiences at prestigious institutions and leadership conferences, including the Leadership Experience Tour. She founded LT3 Leads to guide inspiring leaders. A graduate-level professor, her dedication extends to education with a focus on leadership excellence. Her extensive list of military honor highlights the Distinguished Service Medal. Outside of her military and professional achievements, Twanda's impact has been recognized through the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award and the incorporation of her autobiography into, check this out, y'all, the Library of Congress collection, cementing her legacy as a trailblazer in leadership and empowerment. And today's topic is the value, check this out, the value of your leadership currency. And so I want to welcome retired Brigadier General Twanda, aka Tia Young, to the Blissful Living Podcast. Hey,
it is a pleasure and an honor.
Already. Oh, well, thank you again. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being that African-American woman that is out there in leadership positions, not just civilian-wise, but in the military. I know it takes a strong, bold, brave, and courageously unstoppable woman to go through and do her tenure in the Army and get to that point where she's a brigadier general. So I want to thank you for not only me, but for all the other African-American women and our girls, our daughters, granddaughters, and great-great-granddaughters, because you are a shining star and a person of excellence that we definitely need to recognize and honor. So thank you so much. And I want to jump into today's topic. So
Let's go.
Why is it important to understand your leadership philosophy?
So your leadership philosophy is the cornerstone of how you lead. It is tied into your leadership DNA. If you know what your leadership philosophy is based on, then it's easier for you to then be able to share in clear guidance to your team. Here's why I lead the way I lead. And in doing that, there's a little quick thing I would tell your audience to do that makes it even easier to share your leadership philosophy once you figure out what that is. I want you to select four items, 4 words, or 4 symbols that recognize what your leadership philosophy is based on. If I had to do it, it would be the house in which I grew up in 59 years ago, where Pastor Annie Lou Williamson and Deacon Willie Williamson, they shaped my character and my morals and my values. That's where I got my start and my foundation. Then there would be a pair of boots, because I spent over half of my life in the military. So that's where Tia learned how to lead, had challenges, had triumphs, had setbacks that I learned from. But then I got to know Tia as a leader and got to put in place those strategies and tips that I had learned. So there'd be a pair of boots, a house. There would also be a bridge, because I see myself as a facilitator of helping connect people to be able to be more self-aware about themselves as a leader, thus by making them better leaders for our society. So I help people reach their goals and obtain the knowledge about themselves to be better inwardly and then expressed outwardly. And then the last thing would be a cross, because the cross for me is my spiritual faith. That is my foundation. That's where I learned how to treat people with dignity and respect. So those 4 things represent my leadership philosophy. And when you share it with your team in that way, it gives them a symbol or a word that they can quickly remember. Okay, this is what John is about. This is what Sarah is about. So your leadership philosophy for me is your cornerstone and bedrock of your leadership currency.
Whoa. You said a mouthful, and we got to take a quick break, but we'll be right back, because I want to dive deeper into the leadership philosophy that we all should be creating for ourselves if we're going to stand out in front and be the leader of our pack. We'll be right back to the Blissful Living Podcast in just a few moments. Okay, this is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and I'm back with our beautiful retired Brigadier General Twanda, Tia Young, and she dropped some game on us, but 4 things that we should have in order to really, I want to say, solidify our foundation and what leadership means to us. So when we step out, quote unquote, in our boots, we're able to lead by what's in our heart and soul. And so just, I would like for you to share a little bit about how you utilize those 4 concepts that you have that are important for you and to you in the context of when you were leading our fellows, not my fellow, but the fellow soldiers that you were in charge of to stand in their greatness.
Well, I shared those things with them. And there's multiple ways in which you can share your leadership philosophy. In the military, normally you share it through written or verbal, context of what your leadership is about, your philosophy is about. Normally soldiers have it. It's a memorandum, and it's plastered in their offices so that they can reflect about, on it again, remember what that particular leader who's over them at that time, what their leadership philosophy is. But the way that I shared my leadership philosophy was in action. Words mean little things, but action speaks volumes. As my kids
Mm.
say, does your audio match your video?
Ooh.
So through that way is how I would, for an example, the cross, where I said, treat people with dignity and respect. Just because I was a general officer, I was a soldier, and a soldier to another soldier. Yeah, I'm responsible for what gets done and what fails to get done. It's on my shoulders. But in order to create team synergy, you have to treat people with dignity and respect and earn their trust. So I earned their trust by making sure that I took care of them. I made sure they got the resources they need. I made sure they got the training. I even did the coaching and mentoring and guiding to help them court out their path for their careers. So that's just one example. I think it's more so important for leaders to do less talk and do more action, because then your people can see that you are truly about what you say you are.
I love that. Do less talk and more action. I grew up around a bunch of boys. I'm the only granddaughter in my generation of kids, so I learned to be resilient, persistent. But I was always the type of person, even as a little girl, that I wanted to not tell you, not be boastful, but I wanted to show you what I could do. And then I wouldn't have to be boastful, because then you would see the caliber of whatever it was I was doing, whether I was playing baseball or, in school or whatever. And that's what I tried to instill in my children. We all have people in our lives that do a lot of loud talking and talking loud and saying nothing. I think that was a song back in the day. But I think you get more respect when you lead by action and then say those words. Now, with regards to some of the people that you were in command of, I know you had some people that you saw, some soldiers that you were in command of that were a little rough around the edges, but you saw something in them. You saw their greatness in them that, one, they may have not seen, two, they may have not even been exposed to, and three, maybe they denied it. How did you help those soldiers to step in to owning and commanding their greatness without being mouthy about it?
I held them accountable for their actions, and gave them responsibility, and then held them accordingly. But I also would give you a task that I knew may have been a little bit over your head, but it was a good challenging task for you to be able to come out on triumph or learn through the process. Leading people, you gotta like people. You can't just lead them. You gotta like people, and you gotta invest in them. And through that investment, you will see where people's confidence becomes increased, and they're asked for more stuff. They're asked for more challenges, because they know that their leader is in their corner. Yes, I'm going to hold you accountable, but my job is to mentor, teach, coach, and guide you. And in doing my part, it allows for your leadership journey to be more enriched.
Oh my goodness. I love this dialogue, because I think this is not said enough, particularly with the children and I want to say the young folks in today's society that are coming up. A lot of times they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. And if it's a task that they're assigned, and I don't want to say fail, but they neglect, or they don't take care of the task at hand like it should be taken at hand. When you hold them accountable, they don't want that accountability. What do you say? I want you to think about this, but we got to take a quick break. But what do you say to anyone, whether in leadership, parent role, because the parent is a leader, right? To help these type of people to reverse their mindset process, because there is something great in them when we see that, but they just don't quite grasp how it should be and how it should be presented in today's society. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to the Blissful Living podcast. We're talking to retired Brigadier General Twanda Tia Young, and we'll be right back. Give us a moment. Stay tuned, y'all. Don't go away. Give us a moment. Okay, it's Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and I'm talking with our retired Brigadier General Twanda Tia Young, and I'm loving this. For one, she's a woman of color. I don't think we really actually know that there are women of color that are actually at the general status, in the military, and so this is an awakening probably for a whole bunch of folks watching us. But when we left, I asked you a question, and so can you share with the listeners and the viewers what we can do to help guide those young folks that really need the guidance in a more how can I say, structured way?
Yeah, I think it's helping them to become more self-aware. I wrote a book, Dare to Lead Differently, Chew on This, 16 Bites for Bold Leaders. And the book is a reflective book, but it takes you through the journey of my journey, 16 bites of my career in 33 years that I thought was profound, to help you see how I became the leader I am today, but also the self-awareness that it took along that journey to be more in tune with who I am as a leader and as a person. So I think it's patience that you have to have with. Let me put it this way: there is a phrase that I coined, P3 mentality, and I used that mentality throughout my career, and it stands for persistence. So you have to be persistent and invest in your young people, invest in your children, invest in your employees, and have persistence of, again, holding them accountable and helping them learn what structure is. Then you have to persevere. They're not gonna always get it. They're not gonna like it. I didn't like when my mama told me to eat broccoli and all that good stuff, but it was good for me, right?
Right.
So you have to persevere with them through the process of cultivating their self-awareness along the way. But here's the main thing that I will tell your audience and viewers. As a leader, as a parent, you have to have patience with the process. And that is the hardest part, because we want to see our children flourish. We want them to get it, because we've had the lessons. We know, don't put your hand on the stove, it's going to burn you. But they have to learn. They have to go through that journey to learn for themselves. And we have to be patient to allow them to sometimes fall, to then be able to help pick them up. But the key thing is help them move forward. And in that, you got to be talking and communicating with your employees, with your children, that no, it didn't work this time. Why do you think it didn't work? Ask clarifying questions, not open-ended questions, but ask questions that allow them to converse with you about their feelings, and then listen. I don't call it active listening, because I can active listening to you right now, and I could be doing many other things, but I want you to engage. I want you to have the eye contact. I want you to keep your mouth closed and listen to what they're sharing from their heart. And then ask them the question, am I trying to solve this problem for you, or am I just listening? And that kind of sets the tone of the conversation from the start.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Words of wisdom that anybody can take, whether you're dealing with your children, other people's children, your employees, fellow coworkers, it's powerful, powerful words. Now, I want to ask you about this, because we all know ESPN, y'all, but Twanda, Tia, she has a ESPN score. So what do you mean by your ESPN score?
So when I talk about ESPN, no, I'm not talking about sports. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. That's only because my brother is a Dallas Cowboy fan. Go figure. But when I talk about ESPN, I'm talking about enumeration for the E. Where do you and this ties into your self-awareness, do a survey of you. Where do you honestly stand as you put yourself against the standard? Notice I didn't say against people, against the standard of what it calls for your job. Where do you truly stand amongst the standard aligned with the other people that are in your area of respective area of expertise? Then the S is, as you look at that, do you need additional schooling? Do you need certifications? Do you need something else to help you level up? Because sitting and complaining why I can't get this promotion, while I can't do this. Well, look, survey yourself. Are you on the level of where you need to be for the standard for the position you're trying to go to? So ESP, what is truly your potential? Are you in an area that you can thrive? Or is this just something where you're doing it just to get a paycheck? Do something that is going to feed the soul and do something that you enjoy. Then when you do that, you lead better. You feed and pour into people more because you care about it. So ESPN, the N is networking. Who do you have? I call it on your board of directors. When I say a board of directors, I'm saying at least 3 or 4 people that you know of that you can call and have a conversation, a very straightforward and unbiased conversation, that they're going to tell you that you need to do more of this, or the idea you're thinking about just to get it out there in the air. They're going to give you insight. But who are you networking with to build your community to help you get to where you want to be? So enumeration, additional schooling, truly your potential for where you are and where you want to go, and then who is in your circle of networking or on your board of directors.
Oh, I love this. Oh man, we can talk for hours about this because I think it's really important. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back to talk to retired Brigadier General Twanda Tia Young. We'll be right back, y'all, to the Blissful Living Podcast. Hello, it's back with the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, and you're at the Blissful Living Podcast. I'm talking to retired Brigadier General Twanda Tia Young, and she just dropped some game on us with regards to the ESPN Score. But the one thing that I really love, I loved it all, but the power of your network. And I always am a believer that you need to be in a community and you need to make deep connections in your network community so that people are open to pour into you things that are right here, like these freckles on my face. Some of them I can see and some of them I can't see, but they can give to you the juice and be upfront, but come from a loving place to help you elevate wherever it is you want to go. And I know in the Army, it's it's a collaborative effort when there's a mission to be accomplished, a task to be completed. And so it's power in having that network of fellow like-minded individuals. And sometimes they don't have to be like-minded because sometimes you get the best gain from those that are not like-minded. That gives you the juice to move forward. As we get to the closing of this show, I want to ask you this one last question. When it comes to the levels of leadership, the 5 levels of leadership that you talk about, and how they correlate to leadership currency, what information can you share with the viewers and listeners today regarding that before we close out?
So I would challenge your listeners and viewers to look at their leadership on the basis of, why do people follow you? Ask yourself that simple question. Do they follow you because of the position you're in? Do they follow you because of what you've done for the organization or what you can do for them? Or do they follow you because of what you represent? And I would encourage you that you want people to follow you because of what you represent, which means you're leading by example. Because if they're following you for that position, that's a person that comes in during the day, and at 5 o'clock, they're already out the parking lot. The little lady with the tennis shoes, she's getting the tennis shoes on about 30 minutes prior. Then she's going to go to Sarah for about another 5 or 10 minutes. And then by the time that the clock hits 5, she's gone, because she's just in there because of the position. She doesn't really care about you being her leader. Those that stay a little longer, they're hoping they can get something from you. But those who follow you because of what you represent, meaning that you are willing to roll up your sleeves and get in there. And I like what you said about, your network. There is power in diversity. More minds on a problem, a better solution. You don't
Yes,
ever
ma'am.
want to think. But look at why people follow you. And the other thing is, are you worthy of being followed?
Ooh.
Because leadership is a choice, it's an honor, and it's a privilege.
Whoa, whoa. Fabulous words of wisdom as we close out the show today. I definitely would love to have her back and engage more deeply into her leadership excellence and what she shares with those she comes across, meaning around the world. But today is not that day. We gotta bring her back. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart again for your service, those 33 years. Um, Showing impeccability as African American women, being a representation of our strength, our character, our fortitude, our wherewithal, being in the trenches. I don't think a lot of people understand the journey we take just based on being a woman of color. And so I want to thank you for that. And I just want to thank you for spending a little time with, just little old me, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous here on the Blissful Living Podcast, because I know you could be doing 1,000 other things, but you took some time, and that makes me feel valued and it just abundant, because you left me with feeling abundant. And to all of you listening, watching, that's why you need to share the show with every woman you love and care about, and subscribe, because we bring it, and it's real information that you can incorporate into your life, as I always say, immediately after the show. Hopefully y'all took a lot of notes, but if not, rewatch the show over and over and over again until your cup is full. And then you could take the words of wisdom that Brigadier General Twanda Young gave us and incorporate them into your life, and watch the fruition of what you're trying to create manifest. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I want to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com, and that fabulous telecommunications installation company, All Day Cable Inc. at alldaycableinc.com. Until next time, my fabulous viewers and listeners, I'm wishing you peace to your mind, power and resilience in your soul, and excellence at everything you desire to create. Until next time, goodbye for now.